What can traveling fans expect in terms of the stadium atmosphere in Istanbul? Welcome to the hell. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game. I expect a 2-1 victory for Galatasaray. How about that? Hey Chris and Spurs fans, I'm Emre Özer, also known as Cowboy, as the head suggests. I live in the US, and I'm a big supporter of Galatasaray. I'm also the owner and main host of Wild West Football, a YouTube channel dedicated to all things Galatasaray. Just like you connect with Spurs fans and share team news, I do the same for Galatasaray, only on a much smaller scope. Hey, if you're up for it, I'd love to have you over, have you join us for a pre or post game chat to exchange perspectives, because I'm sure it's going to be a fun game. Let's get to your list of questions. I'll go in the order. Let me pull them up here. Question number 1. What have you made of Galatasaray so far this season in all competitions? Well, this season started as a roller coaster for Galatasaray. We faced some serious setbacks early on, like the 5-0 loss to Beşiktaş in the Turkish Super Cup. Also, being knocked out of the Champions League playoffs was quite traumatizing against young boys. Naturally, as expected, these events left the fans frustrated and skeptical, including myself. But in my opinion, the team acted fast. We restructured the roster. We sent away some of the players that were not performing well. We brought in some fresh talent, and also, boy, a spectacular transfer. We secured Victor Osimhen on loan, which he has been a game changer for us. Since then, we found our rhythm. In the Turkish Super League, we're on an impressive run with 9 wins and 1 draw, including 2 massive derby victories against Fenerbahçe and Beşiktaş. In the European League, we've started strong as well with 2 wins and a draw, which has given fans a renewed optimism, including myself. Question number 2. Can you tell us about the manager, key players, and talk about former Spurs player Sanchez? Not sure how much you know about Okan Buruk. Our manager, Okan Buruk, he is making history in Turkish football, and I'm pretty sure one day he's going to start shaking the European market as well. So far, he's broken records left and right for us. Records like most points in a season, longest winning streak, best derby performance, you name it. He's incredibly pragmatic. I think that's one of his strengths. And he seems to thrive under pressure, often turning things around in moments that would leave most coaches desperate, in my opinion. As for the key players, we have Mauro Emanuel Icardi, who's a symbol player for Galatasaray. He's like the new generation is in love with him. And he's a key part of this team, scoring, making a lot of scoring and in-game contributions. Obviously, Victor Osimhen this season, a spectacular transfer. We're trying hard to make him a permanent transfer. Let's see how that's gonna go. In the midfield, we have Torreira. We also have Gabriel Sara. You must know him from Championship last year. He played for Norwich City. He's a top talent. His recent performance, he's definitely a star player for us. It's very impressive. I'm very happy that we have him. And in the defense, we have Abdülkerim, and also we have Sanchez. Since you wanted to more about Sanchez, let me give you one quick snapshot of what he means for the team. since he's a familiar face for Spurs fans. He has been crucial for us, especially his speed, his agility, his calmness on the ball. That allows him to control the team's shape. We can set the length, the depth of the team effectively thanks to his agility and speed. We can also bring the defensive line up in the field. So because he's so confident, he can easily catch up to players running behind him, right? So that gives us that level of confidence. Also, with the ball, he's really part of our build-up. So we have now two options. Before it was only up to Kerim, left-footed player. Often it's more confusing for the opponents. But Sanchez, I think, he is now becoming a second option, a great option. His long balls are really threatening for most of the opponents. So based on all these things, I can confidently say that he's quickly becoming an anchor for our defensive setup. Let's move on to your next question. Are the Galatasaray fans feeling confident about getting a good result against Tottenham? Well, Galatasaray fans are always confident, especially at home in European competitions. Let me give you some context and some background information. Over 100 years ago, 120 years ago, when the club was founded, the main vision of the club was to be a top performer in the European competition. And actually, we're the first and the only Turkish team with a European Cup. We actually have 2 cups. So we're now looking forward to secure the next one. Hopefully, this is the year. So Galatasaray has always been the Turkey's top representative in European competitions. But we also know that Tottenham is a formidable opponent, especially like recent form. It's paramount. We've seen what you guys can do, what they can do against top Premier League teams like Manchester City, Manchester United, and very recently Aston Villa. I watched that game, man. Those short sequences of the game, it's really concerning for us, in my opinion. And to be honest, Postecoglou's style adds an unpredictable and ruthless edge to Spurs. We'll have to be very cautious because, like I said, those very short and effective sequences in the games can hurt us. On the other hand, I also recognize that recent injuries may have shifted the odds slightly in our favor. It seems like Galatasaray is now with a slight edge. It's more favorable to win the game, but it's very close. So we have to be careful. I know that for sure. And I also know that Tottenham will approach this game with discipline and intent. We just need to reciprocate. We just need to do the same. Give 100% focus, 100% prepare to this game with 100% discipline and focus. Let's move on to your next question. Can you talk about Galatasaray's Europa League games so far? Sure. Our Europa League campaign has been promising with 2 wins and a draw. We've shown that we can compete at the highest level. The team's offensive and defensive stats are not bad, especially on the offense. I think we're much better. We still need to work on some of our defensive stats for this tournament, but we're getting there. So Galatasaray reputation in the Europe as a top club that performs well in the European competition will be probably, I would say, we will earn that again and again in the games coming ahead of us. Your next question, what have you made of Tottenham so far this season, especially in the Europa League? I think I already mentioned some glimpses of my observations about Tottenham. Tottenham has a great start this season. Postecoglou's unique style has made them a bit unpredictable, but in a good way. I watched the game against Aston Villa, and those short but deadly sequences were impressive, man. You can quickly get punished by Tottenham because they can capitalize on any lapses in concentration. That's what I've seen so far. And you have a very dangerous squad, star players on your rotation. So I know that Spurs have rotated their squad in the Europa League, but even with the changes, they've shown strength. I also heard recent news about the recent injuries that happened in the recent games, but I'm pretty sure you guys have the depth to be as strong as you were before for this competition. Next question. Who are your favorites to win this competition, and do you like the new format? Well, let's wait and see. I'm an open-minded person. I don't mind more games. I guess for fans, it's better. But I've also heard the player side of the story. They don't get to rest, and so it adds a bit more density to their schedule. So let's wait and see. I haven't made my opinion yet. As for the favorites to win this competition, for me, obviously, I'm a very objective person. It's Galatasaray. Hopefully, we're gonna continue our to deliver on our vision by winning another cup this year, another European Cup this year. So Galatasaray will always be my favorite, but to be realistic, I'd say Tottenham, Lazio will be tough competition this year specifically. I would have added Manchester United to that list, but they seem to be struggling this season. So let's wait and see what happens. I only expect to see great games, great competition, fair game, and hopefully the team who deserves the most will win, and that team will be Galatasaray. Your next question. What sort of game do we expect on Thursday, and how will Galatasaray set up tactically? It depends on Osimhen's fitness. I've been reading some recent news about his potentially injured, but also reading that it could be a protective measure by the team's physios. But if he's available, I'm sure we'll go with 4-4-2. Otherwise, we'll likely to stick to our previous formation, which is 4-2-3-1. We'll play with a single striker, which will be likely Mauro Emanuele Icardi. Being a home game, and since I mentioned a lot about Galatasaray vision towards European competition, I expect Galatasaray to go all in, pressing high and aiming to control the possession in Tottenham's half. We will look to create opportunities, scoring opportunities, and we will do that aggressively, especially in the first part of the game. But I also know that we have to keep a close eye on Tottenham's attacks and counterattacks. So Tottenham, as I mentioned before, Tottenham can quickly punish us with these quick sequences of the game when we are not being careful. So that's what I expect from this game. Let's move on to your next question. Will Galatasaray go strong in terms of the starting 11, given the Spurs have rotated heavily in this competition? Yes, I expect Galatasaray to field a strong lineup. Again, I want to go back to our vision. Our club vision is to win in the European competitions. And our fans demand a full-strength team in the European games. If they see otherwise, they will be frustrated, they will be disappointed. Nobody wants that, especially at home. This game is seen as a big opportunity to prove ourselves, so we won't be holding back. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm expecting from this game. Next question. What can traveling fans expect in terms of the stadium atmosphere in Istanbul? Welcome to the hell. Just kidding. Well, I'm not sure if you heard of the term welcome to the hell. That used to be a historical slogan for the team, for the team when we play our home games against a visiting team. So that's what we describe our stadium as hell. I'm not sure it's the most friendly term as the in our age and day, but I would expect nothing but a very intense atmosphere. Our fans will make it an electrifying, passionate, if not intimidating experience for the away team. That's for sure. That's given. For the Spurs fans making the trip, Turkish people are famous with their hospitality, but I'd say embrace it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to witness such a passionate support for a team. It's all part of the magic of our European nights in Istanbul. So enjoy it. Hopefully you'll have a fantastic game. Hopefully Galatasaray will win, but we will watch together a fantastic game. That's what I wish for. Last question. the expected lineup for Galatasaray, and your scoring prediction. Well, for the lineup, it depends on Osimhen's fitness. Let's assume that he's gonna be on for the game. So I'd say let's start with the defense. Let's start with the goalkeeper. Obviously, that's gonna be Muslera. On the back line, we're playing the 4 defenders, starting from right to left. Gonna be Khan. And next to him it's gonna be Sanchez. Next to him, Abdülkerim Bardakçı. And on the left side, that is the tricky part. We had a recent injury of Ismail Jakobs, who has been a new transfer, who has been a key part of the team. But he's away, he's injured, so he's not going to be part of this game. So in his absence, I would expect his replacement as potentially Yelert. Yelert played Elias Yelert, also a new transfer. Yelert, his typical position is a right back, but in the past he also played as a left back, especially in his previous career, in his previous team against Galatasaray. 2 games he played, one of them he was a left back. So I would expect him to be the left back for this Tottenham game. In the midfield, assuming we're doing 4-4-2, we will have Barış Alper Yılmaz. We will have Yunus Akgün on the right and left side. And in the middle, we will have Torreira and Gabriel Sara. And forward players, Mauro Emanuel Icardi and Victor Osimhen. So that's what I would expect. I would caveat the left back position. It's really a tough position for us since we don't have a lot of good rotation in that side. As for my prediction, I'd say it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game. I expect a 2-1 victory for Galatasaray. How about that? All right. I hope you find this helpful. Let me know if you have any feedback. I would appreciate it. Cheers.